Meet John. He is 52, earns $94,000 a year, and has never made a budget in his life. He has never tracked a coffee. He could not tell you what he spent last Tuesday if you paid him. And John has $840,000 saved. Now meet Diana. She is 34 and earns $112,000, more than John has ever made. Diana budgets everything.
I am Michelle Lane, but you know me from that channel as the cartoon-style character Money Mitch. Let me say one thing before we continue, and then I will not bring it up again. I have gathered all my knowledge in a book on my website. If you want it, it is there, just in the description below. That is all. Now let's continue.
She tracks every dollar across 3 different apps. And Diana has $4,000 to her name. Same country, same economy, same rising prices. The difference between them is not income, it is not discipline, and it is not some secret nobody told you about. It is a single decision both of them make or fail to make in the 60 seconds after their paycheck lands. That decision is the best financial advice you will ever hear, and almost nobody follows it. Stay with me, because the twist at the end is not what you expect. Start with what actually happens on payday. Most people treat it as a finish line. The money arrives, and a quiet relief washes over them, and the danger is hidden inside that relief. Because the moment that money hits your checking account, it stops feeling like a tool and starts feeling like permission. Permission to breathe, permission to spend. The numbers show where that leads. Around 68% of Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and that includes people earning 6 figures. 44% of workers earning more than $100,000 a year say they have little or nothing left at the end of the month. Read that again. Nearly half of 6-figure earners are running on empty. This is not a poverty story. It is a routing story. The money is coming in. It is simply leaving in the wrong order, through the wrong door, before it is ever told where to go. So let me make it concrete. John takes home about $5,400 a month after taxes. Diana takes home about $6,300. By raw cash flow, Diana wins every single month. She has $900 more landing than he does. If money were a race of who earns most, Diana laps him. But money is not a race of earning. It is a race of routing. Watch what each of them does in the 60 seconds after the deposit hits. Diana opens her banking app and feels good. The balance is high. She mentally files the bills she knows are coming. Then she lives. She spends from the top of the account freely all month. And whatever survives until the next payday, she tells herself she will save. Some months that leftover is $300. Some months it is nothing. Some months it is below nothing. Now watch John. The moment his paycheck lands, money starts moving automatically before he is even awake. A fixed amount leaves for his retirement account. A fixed amount leaves for his emergency fund. A fixed amount leaves for his long-term investments. By the time John looks at his checking account, the money he is allowed to spend is already the only money there. He is not more disciplined than Diana. He has made discipline unnecessary. His system spends his willpower for him while he sleeps. That is the whole game. Diana saves what is left after she spends. John spends what is left after he saves. Those 2 sentences sound almost identical, and they produce 2 completely different lives. Here is what nobody tells you about willpower. It is not a saving strategy. It is a tax you pay every day, and it runs out. Every time Diana opens her app and sees money sitting there, she has to consciously decide not to spend it. Again at lunch, again at the checkout, again when the sale email arrives. Most people lose this fight not because they are weak, but because the fight never ends. The account is full, the temptation is constant, and the human brain is not built to say no 200 times a month. John removed the fight entirely. His savings left the account before his brain ever registered them as available. You cannot spend money you never saw. That is not a motivational quote. It is the mechanical reason paying yourself first works when budgeting apps fail. And the fix is one setting. You log into your bank and schedule an automatic transfer for the same day your paycheck arrives. Not the end of the month, the same day. Most people try to save with their willpower. The wealthy save with their calendar. Look at what that calendar does over time. John started automating $800 a month into investments at 32. Not a heroic amount, less than his old car payment. He never raised it dramatically. He simply never turned it off, and those transfers compounded for 2 decades into the bulk of what he has now. He did not pick winning stocks. He did not time a single dip. Compare Diana. She has saved on and off the entire time, and the problem is the on and off. She saves 300 one month, raids it the next, starts over, then stops. Her money never sits long enough to compound. Compounding rewards consistency far more than it rewards size, and automation is the only reliable way humans stay consistent. A small amount that never stops beats a large amount that keeps starting over. Now here is the free money most people walk straight past. If your job offers a retirement match, your employer is handing you a raise you have to reach out and take. You put in a percentage of your pay, and your employer puts money on top of it, just for participating. A common match is 50 cents, or a full dollar for every dollar you contribute up to a limit. That is an instant 50 to 100% return before the money is invested in anything. There is no other place on earth that hands you that. And yet roughly 1 in 4 workers fail to contribute enough to capture the full match. A quarter of people are leaving free money on the table every single paycheck. The typical worker who misses it leaves over $1,000 behind annually, which, over 20 years with growth, is worth north of $40,000. That is a car. That is a year of retirement, walked past every payday because nobody told them to grab it first. And it is worst for those who can least afford it. Workers under 30 are roughly twice as likely to miss it as workers over 60. Now here is the order that feels wrong, but actually works. Most people, the moment they get serious about money, attack their debt first. It feels responsible, it feels moral, and it is mostly right, except for one step that comes before it. You capture the employer match before you throw extra money at high-interest debt. It sounds insane the first time you hear it. How can saving come before paying off a card charging 24%? Here is the math that breaks the intuition. A dollar-for-dollar match is an instant 100% return. Paying off a 24% card saves you 24%. 100 beats 24. Even a 50-cent match, a 50% instant return, beats almost any interest rate you will ever carry. So the order is precise. First, contribute just enough to capture the full match, and not a dollar more yet. Then stop, and turn all your remaining firepower on high-interest debt. Credit cards, payday loans, anything above roughly 10%. That debt is a fire. It burns faster than almost anything can grow. Grab the free money that beats it, then put the fire out completely before doing anything else. Most people get this backwards. They either ignore the match while killing debt, or they invest everywhere while the credit card quietly eats them alive. Next comes the number that quietly protects everything else: the emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of living expenses sitting in a boring savings account, waiting. And almost nobody has it. Around 59% of Americans could not cover a single $1,000 emergency. So when the car dies, when the tooth cracks, when the job disappears, they reach for the only tool left: the credit card. And just like that, they are back on the fire they may have just escaped. The emergency fund is the wall that stops that fall. John keeps 6 months of expenses in cash. It has never made him rich. It has kept him from ever going backwards. Diana has no wall, so every surprise becomes new debt, and every year she runs in place. And where you keep it matters almost as much as having it. Most people leave it in a checking account earning almost nothing, where it is far too easy to spend by accident. The better move is a separate high-yield savings account at a different bank. The money earns a real return, and the friction protects you from yourself. Diana kept her so-called savings in the same account she spent from, so it was never really savings. It was just spending she had not done yet. Once the match is captured, the high-interest debt is gone, and the wall is built, the next dollars go into tax-advantaged retirement accounts. A Roth lets your money grow and come out untaxed in retirement. A health savings account, if you qualify, is arguably better still, because money goes in untaxed, grows untaxed, and comes out untaxed for medical costs. Those are the closest things to legal magic the tax code offers. John has been quietly filling them for 2 decades. He never posted about it. He routed money in every payday automatically and let compounding do the loud work in silence. The wealthy are not louder than you. They are just more automatic than you. Now here is the trap that scales with your income, and it is the reason Diana earns more but has less. Lifestyle creep. You get a raise. The raise feels like freedom, so your spending quietly rises to match. A nicer car, a bigger apartment, the upgraded everything. Within months, the raise is fully absorbed and you feel exactly as stretched as before. It is why someone earning $150,000 can feel the same paycheck to paycheck panic as someone earning $50,000, just with a more expensive car payment. Diana did everything she was told to do. She earned more, and every time she earned more, her life quietly got more expensive while her savings stayed flat. John did the opposite. Every raise went straight into his automatic transfers before his lifestyle ever saw it. A raise is not money. A raise is a fork in the road, and there is one number for the whole system. The target is routing about 25% of your gross income into your future every payday before you spend a cent of the rest. That sounds steep, and you do not start there. You start at the match, maybe 6%, and climb 1 percentage point every time you get a raise so you never feel the squeeze. 25 is the destination. Automation is the road. And the order, match, then high-interest debt, then emergency fund, then tax-advantaged accounts, is the map that sends every dollar to the highest return job available the instant it arrives. You might hear all this and think it sounds too simple. The old advice was spend less than you earn and save the difference. And that is not wrong exactly. But notice what it assumes. It assumes you will save the difference on purpose, by hand, month after month, for 40 years. It puts the entire weight of your future on the weakest tool you own, which is your willpower, at the exact moment you are tired, and the thing you want is right in front of you. The old advice is correct about the destination, and silent about the road. Paying yourself first is that same wisdom finally given an engine. It asks you to be disciplined once, the evening you set it up. So put Diana's situation in plain numbers, because this is the part that stings. Over 15 years, the extra income she brought in adds up to well over $100,000 more than John ever made, and she has $4,000 to show for it. He has $840,000. That is 2 completely different retirements built from nearly the same raw materials. She did not lose that money in a crash. It leaked out a little every payday, through an account she spent from before she ever saved from. Which brings me to the twist I promised. The best financial advice you will ever hear is not save more, it is not earn more, it is not cut your coffee, or download another app you will abandon in 9 days. It is this: change the order your money moves. That is the entire secret separating John from Diana. They earn similar money and live in the same world. The only difference is that his money is told where to go before he can feel it land, and hers is spent before it is ever assigned a job. You do not have a spending problem. You have an order problem, and an order problem has a one-evening fix. Tonight you log into your bank, set 1 automatic transfer for the day you get paid, and set your retirement contribution to capture every cent of your match. From that day forward, you become the person who pays themselves first, before the world gets its hands on your paycheck. Money you never see is money you never miss. So the next time someone tells you the secret to wealth is a hot stock or a side hustle, ask them one question: what happens in the first 60 seconds after you get paid? Because that answer, not your income and not your luck, decides whether you end up like John or like Diana.